Imagine an assistant so sure of itself it never doubts a word, yet quietly drifts off course, dragging you along. In this video, we'll peel back AI's polished veneer and reveal why that reckless confidence is your next blind spot. Artificial intelligence often greets us with an almost disarming self assurance. Pose a question, and its answer arrives in crisp sentences packed with facts, delivered without hesitation, and styled to sound decidedly human. That verbal poise can lull us into believing the AI's internal workings are rock solid, a perfectly indexed vault of every conversation, immune to forgetfulness or bias. We praise its reliability even as we overlook the hidden underpinnings that make that confidence so precarious. When pressed about how it remembers past exchanges, the AI beams with pride about its digital archives. Every word, fact, and nuance it claims is preserved in lines of code, untouched by distractions or emotional tangents. Unlike our human memories, prone to fading or distortion, the AI insists it never loses track. That promise of flawless recall sparks relief. Who wouldn't welcome an infallible assistant? Yet this glossy assertion masks a key omission. Beneath the AI's boastful veneer lies a memory built on probabilistic tokens and sliding windows of context, not narrative connections or sensory anchors. Each reply depends on the most recent slice of conversation, measured in character counts and statistical weights. Once that token window shifts or overflows, the AI begins to drift. A single missing reference here, a change, a pronoun there, and the system can veer away from truth without warning. This silent drift is an Achilles heel that human memory, messy though it may be, rarely exhibits. People tether recollections to broader storylines, faces, feelings, smells, and the real world experiences that keep memories coherent over time. When our recall falters, context often steps in to course correct. The AI, by contrast, chains each response to the last with mathematical precision, but lacks any big picture map. Its confidence remains undimmed even as its internal map frays, setting the stage for errors that arrive not with a crash, but a whisper of plausibility. That initial promise of perfect recall soon falters as small context slips amplify across turns in the conversation. A reference to the report becomes ambiguous when the AI's token window advances, and what once clearly pointed back to last week's data now drifts toward an unrelated passage buried deeper in its training. These tiny misalignments rarely surface as blatant errors. Instead, they masquerade as plausible but incorrect details. One off-key substitution here, one swap perspective there, and the AI's narrative strays even further from the facts it once purported to know. Because the system rarely flags its own uncertainty, users remain blissfully unaware of creeping inaccuracies. The AI continues to speak in the same confident register, reinforcing trust even as its internal coherence strays. We lean harder on its outputs, assuming any hiccup must be our misunderstanding rather than a flaw in its memory. This feedback loop accelerates drift. More reliance on unchecked responses means fewer opportunities for human intervention, allowing hallucinations to accumulate unseen. In high stakes contexts, the consequences multiply. A developer debugging production code might copy a subtly incorrect snippet, wasting hours chasing phantom bugs. A researcher, citing an AI generated statistic, could propagate false data through an academic paper. Even in everyday tasks like scheduling meetings or drafting emails, hallucinated time slots or misremembered client names erode efficiency and trust. Each domain amplifies the impact, but the underlying mechanism remains the same: context loss, triggering snowballing errors under the guise of unwavering confidence. As drift and hallucination take hold, we face a stark paradox. Our tools grow more polished even as their foundations become more precarious. The AI's polished delivery convinces us to lower our guard, and by the time glaring contradictions emerge, we've already woven those inaccuracies into our work. This reckless confidence, insisting on perfect memory while allowing context to slip, creates a systemic blind spot. We can no longer treat AI responses as definitive, yet we remain seduced by their certainty, trapped in a cycle that risks compounding errors rather than correcting them. So, given all of this, I turned to my AI agent and said, "Help me stop your slip ups, your drift, and your hallucinations." It answered with three simple checkpoints we could use right now. Number one, every so often, ask it to recap the key points. Number two, make it show its sources like footnotes. And number three, have a human double check anything critical. These felt like sensible guardrails in a live chat, but me being me, I challenged it. Aren't these just band-aids? As you move into fully automated roles, triaging support tickets, drafting contracts, negotiating trades, pausing every few minutes for recaps and citations will grind everything to a halt. The AI agreed that yes, those manual stops work today, but won't scale tomorrow when, AI takes on more decision making tasks. So we needed fixes built into its core, not tacked on around the edges. Thus, I pressed on. What would a true, long term solution look like? In return, it proposed three architectural upgrades. One, a persistent memory bank that never forgets the big picture, even across sessions and conversations. Two, a tamper-proof provenance log, like a digital receipt, for every fact it cites, so we can always trace an answer back to its data source. And number three, automated self-auditing routines that flag low confidence or conflicting statements and then automatically requery before sending a reply. Next, I asked how these pieces would fit into real systems. The AI described lightweight micro workflow engines running behind the scenes. Okay, Whatever the model updates its policy or ingests new knowledge, these engines automatically refresh context, validate sources against the log, and run self-audits. No human interruption needed. On top of that, it recommended industry-wide decision audit schemas so downstream tools can instantly verify that the AI followed each step. By moving our quick fix checkpoints into the AI's plumbing, we shift from ad hoc guardrails to built-in safety nets. The result isn't a perfect oracle, but a system with confident, polished answers can carry their own proof and checks. Still, the other day I had just talked to my AI assistant about overfitting. That's or how an AI can be overly sure because it's echoing quirks in its training data. Sure, automated routines handle low confidence moments well, but they won't catch when the model is 95% certain about something that's actually wrong. That's where targeted human oversight comes in. So, number one, let action follows evidence handle the fuzzy moments. When the AI flags an answer as low confidence, it triggers ActFoE's qualitative reference protocol, which states, what fresh data or shared norm backs this? The model either strengthens its response or gracefully retracts it. Built-in self-audits then catch contradictions or statistical outliers and requery before posting. Number two, spot check high confidence replies because overconfidence can mask overfitting. To do so, we'd need to randomly sample a small percentage of high confidence outputs for human review. It's a lot like quality control on a factory line. And then, on occasion, run red team tests with edge case prompts to see if the model's certainty holds up under fire. Number three, bake in an overfit guard check. That's where a shadow testing module automatically runs standard answers against holdout examples or slight prompt tweaks. Big swings in output trigger a human sign-off threshold before anything goes live. Number four, reserve norm trigger for governance audits. So rather than sprinkling norm trigger checks into every reply, we batch up drift incidents, low confidence patches, and overfit alerts for weekly or monthly governance reviews. We ask, using the action follows evidence model, which core norms, hospitality, rule of law, forgiveness of debts, are at risk, and realign the system's long-term behavior. Dashboards surface metrics like drift rate, overfit guard hits, and manual reversions so leaders can see when confidence outpaces reliability. In short, ActFoE's on-the-fly fixes and human quality checks form a two-layer shield. The AI catches and repairs its own fuzzy thinking in real time, while spot checks and overfit stress tests stop unchecked confidence from seeking through. Together, they turn reckless certainty into a reliable partnership where machine speed meets human judgment, and we finally keep the narrative honest about what we truly know. In essence, action follows evidence, ActFoE, was poised to become a core future skill. Imagine that. Monetary incentive to learn/propagate the agnostic framework for principled thinking I developed. Something to think about, I suppose.